Millionaire disguised as a garbage collector and humiliated in his own dealership. But what he did next left everyone speechless. William Thompson gazed at the stunning view of Chicago through the large glass window in his office. The sprawling metropolis stretched out majestically before his eyes, a sea of skyscrapers and ceaseless activity. He felt a twinge of pride as he observed that landscape, for every building, every avenue, represented the progress and wealth he so admired. His empire, the renowned Thompson Motors, was one of the pillars of this prosperous scene. With annual sales surpassing the billion-dollar mark, William was certain he had reached the pinnacle of success. The numbers spoke for themselves, and he lived in a constant state of celebration for his business achievements. A soft knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he ordered in his usual firm voice. Emily, his 25-year-old daughter, entered the office. There was a determined gleam in her brown eyes that William knew all too well. "Dad, I need to talk to you," she said, sitting down in the chair across from the imposing desk. William nodded, curious about the seriousness of her expression. "I heard that the dealership is sponsoring a charity event next month," Emily began. "A generous amount from what I've been told." "Yes, it's true," confirmed William, pleased with himself. "I believe in the importance of giving back to society. After all, my success is also a reflection of the efforts of many." Emily shook her head, seeming disappointed. "Dad, you still don't get it, do you? That money doesn't solve anything. It's just a drop in the ocean compared to the real problems we face." William furrowed his brow, surprised by the intensity of her words. "What do you mean by that?" "I mean you're completely disconnected from reality," Emily shot back. "You only see numbers, Dad. You don't see the people behind them. The families struggling to survive, the young people without opportunities, the exploited workers." His words cut through William like sharp blades. He had always prided himself on providing jobs and boosting the local economy. How could his own daughter question his good intentions? "Emily, I'm just trying to do my part," he retorted, raising a hand in a defensive gesture. "I can't solve all the world's problems." "No, Dad, you don't understand." Emily stood up, her eyes shining with passion. "I'm not asking you to fix everything on your own. I'm asking you to look beyond the walls of your company, to listen to people, understand their struggles, and use your power to make a real difference." William fell silent, unable to find an immediate response. Emily's words echoed in his mind, stirring an uncomfortable feeling of doubt. Emily sighed, her expression softening. "Dad, I know you have a good heart. You just need to open your eyes to the real needs of our society. Otherwise, all your success will mean very little." With those words, she turned and left the office, leaving William immersed in conflicting thoughts. For the first time, he wondered if he truly understood the impact of his company on the lives of ordinary people. In the days that followed, Emily's words echoed relentlessly in William's mind. No matter how hard he tried to focus on work, they persisted, planting doubts that had never crossed his mind before. During a meeting with his team of managers, William caught himself observing his subordinates with a critical eye. Did they really treat customers fairly and respectfully, regardless of their social standing? Or was there an implicit bias, a hidden judgment based on appearances and status? This doubt deeply troubled him. After all, Thompson Motors had always prided itself on offering exceptional service to all customers without distinction. But what if Emily was right? What if he was missing something fundamental amidst the numbers and goals? That night, as he dined in his luxurious apartment overlooking the illuminated skyline of Chicago, William made a bold decision. He needed to see reality with his own eyes, stripped of all the layers of privilege that surrounded him. Determined to prove to himself, and perhaps to his daughter, whether he was wrong or right, he devised a risky plan. He would disguise himself as a garbage collector and visit his own dealership, observing how employees treated those who, in the eyes of many, occupied the lowest rungs of society. William researched extensively about social immersions, cases where privileged individuals disguised themselves to experience the reality of the less fortunate. He believed this experience would help him reconnect with the world beyond the walls of his luxurious boardroom. In the following days, he meticulously prepared his disguise. He acquired worn-out clothes, crafted a fake beard, and studied the gestures and body language typical of a garbage collector. Every detail had to be perfect to ensure his true identity remained hidden. When the big day finally arrived, William looked at himself in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. The person before him was a complete stranger, with tired eyes and shabby clothes. Taking a deep breath, he left his home, determined to face the journey he had planned. Upon arriving at the dealership, William blended in with the garbage collectors as they carried out their daily waste collection routine. No one even suspected his true identity, and he managed to enter the premises without raising any suspicions. What William witnessed that day would stay with him forever. Looks of disdain, prejudiced comments, and a general attitude of indifference from many employees deeply shocked him. He witnessed customers being ignored or treated with contempt simply because of their humble appearance. However, there was one notable exception: Olivia Thompson, a young sales consultant who had recently been hired. William observed her interacting with a plainly dressed customer, but she treated him with dignity and respect, listening attentively to his needs and offering appropriate solutions. During a break, William approached Olivia, curious to learn her story. She shared with him the difficulties she had faced entering the automotive industry, a predominantly male and elitist environment. Olivia spoke about the importance of overcoming prejudices and treating everyone equally, regardless of their background or financial status. Respect is the foundation of any relationship, whether with customers or colleagues, she said with conviction. If we can't see the humanity in people, we are lost. Her words struck William deeply, resonating with the criticism Emily had made weeks earlier. He felt a wave of shame, realizing that his own company, for so many years hailed as a model of excellence, was failing in this fundamental aspect. Determined to bring about a radical change, William eagerly awaited the right moment to reveal his true identity. However, fate had other plans. While speaking with a manager in the parking lot, Olivia happened to see him and immediately recognized William Thompson, the owner of the dealership. She widened her eyes, shocked, but chose to keep the secret to herself, curious to see how he would handle the revelations he was experiencing. That night, William returned home with a new perspective. Emily's words echoed in his mind with renewed clarity, and he knew he needed to take bold steps to transform his company from the inside out. Under the disguise of a janitor, William discovered a parallel world within his own company. As he walked through the bright corridors of the dealership, he was met with disdain and contempt by most of the employees. Judgmental looks and prejudiced comments left him stunned, but determined to face the reality his daughter Emily had pointed out. However, there was one exception: Olivia, a newly hired sales consultant. Even in the presence of what appeared to be a simple janitor, she treated him with dignity and respect. During a casual conversation, Olivia shared her own story of overcoming challenges, revealing the obstacles she faced to enter the automotive industry, traditionally dominated by men. Respect is the foundation of any relationship, whether with clients or colleagues, she said, with a determined gleam in her eyes. No matter someone's appearance or social position, everyone deserves to be treated with empathy and understanding. Her words deeply moved William, making him reflect on how far he had strayed from fundamental human values in his pursuit of financial success. He realized that his dealership, the pride of his life, had become a reflection of the social inequalities his daughter so often criticized. The disguise, however, was accidentally uncovered when Olivia witnessed William talking to a manager who recognized him in the parking lot. Surprised, she chose to keep the secret, curious to see how the owner would handle the revelations he was experiencing. Determined to change the course of the dealership, William called an emergency meeting with the entire team. With a firm voice, he announced a groundbreaking initiative, a large community event offering free services, basic mechanics workshops, and special financing and maintenance conditions for low-income customers. The silence in the room was deafening, with many employees exchanging incredulous glances. William, however, did not back down. He promoted Olivia to customer service coordinator, trusting her vision and values to lead the company into a new era of inclusion. Preparing for the community event was a real challenge. Olivia faced resistance from employees who doubted the feasibility of the initiative and feared losing commissions. Nevertheless, she remained steadfast, believing that respect and empathy should not be seen as threats, but as opportunities for growth. Amid the preparations, an unexpected incident occurred. A small fire in one of the tents set up for the event caused chaos and threatened the success of the day. However, far from becoming a disaster, The accidental flames brought the team together in a surprising way. While some employees tried to control the flames, others organized an orderly evacuation of the participants. Unexpected leaders emerged, with employees from different departments working together to minimize damage and ensure everyone's safety. William, still disguised as a garbage collector, bravely worked alongside John, an experienced garbage collector and a former customer often overlooked by the team. Together, they managed to contain the fire before it could spread, proving that unity across social classes and the appreciation of all individuals were essential for the success of the dealership. The incident, though frightening, highlighted the importance of the values of inclusion and empathy that William sought to instill. The team realized that when everyone works together, regardless of their hierarchical position or social background, great challenges can be overcome. After the initial shock, the event resumed with renewed vigor. Olivia led the reorganization of the stands, ensuring that all services were offered as planned. She was determined to prove that the dealership was not just a business, but an agent of social transformation. One by one, customers from different backgrounds arrived, some still skeptical, others curious. However, as they experienced respectful service and accessible financing opportunities, expressions of doubt turned into smiles of hope. A humble man, the owner of a small auto repair shop, approached William, still in disguise, and hugged him emotionally. "Thanks to the new policies of this dealership, I was able to save my business and provide for my family," he said, tears in his eyes. "You have proven that respect and inclusion are not just empty words, but actions that change lives." William felt a wave of pride and accomplishment wash over his heart. His journey of transformation was just beginning, but he could already see the first signs of a more just and equitable future for all. The success of the community event, promoted by William Thompson, brought a new wave of energy and enthusiasm to the dealership. Olivia, now the customer service coordinator, worked tirelessly to implement the new policies and ensure that all customers, regardless of their financial situation, were treated with respect and dignity. However, not everyone was happy with the changes. Some long-time employees, accustomed to the old exclusive practices, were reluctant to accept the new guidelines. Among them was Charles, a veteran sales manager who saw the inclusive initiatives as a threat to the high standards the dealership had always valued. One morning, Olivia noticed that Charles was deliberately assigning low-income customers to the less experienced consultants, sabotaging their chances of making good sales. Outraged, she confronted him. "Charles, what's going on? These practices go against everything we're trying to build here." "Olivia, dear, you're still new to this business. We need to maintain our high standards and can't allow just anyone to have access to our high-end vehicles," replied Charles with a condescending smile. Olivia shook her head in disbelief. "Everyone deserves fair and equal treatment, regardless of their financial situation. That's what William Thompson wants for this dealership." Charles laughed. "William may have his romantic ideas, but in the end, the numbers speak the loudest. And trust me, these low-income clients won't bring in the numbers we need." Frustrated, Olivia decided to take the matter directly to William. She knew she had to act quickly, before Charles's prejudiced attitudes tainted all the progress they had made. That evening, as William reviewed some reports in his office, Olivia knocked on the door. When invited in, she didn't hesitate to lay out the situation. "Mr. Thompson, I need to bring a concerning matter to your attention. Manager Charles is sabotaging our new inclusive policies by deliberately assigning low-income clients to inexperienced consultants." William frowned, clearly disturbed by the accusations. "This is unacceptable, Olivia. The changes we're promoting here are essential for the future of this company, and I won't tolerate any form of discrimination or sabotage." Olivia nodded, relieved to have William's support. "I understand that some changes can be hard to accept, especially for the more senior employees. But we need to show everyone that we are committed to this new direction." William reflected for a moment and then made a decision. "Call a general meeting early tomorrow. I will personally address all employees and make it clear that these discriminatory practices will not be tolerated. Additionally, I will take disciplinary action against Charles to set an example." Olivia Thompson agreed, feeling relieved to have William by her side in this fight. The changes they were implementing were too important to be undermined by prejudiced attitudes. From that moment on, They would work together to build a truly inclusive culture at the dealership. The next day, all employees at the dealership were called to a general meeting. There was a tense atmosphere in the air, as rumors about the confrontation between Olivia and Charles had spread quickly. William stepped onto the makeshift stage, his commanding presence capturing everyone's attention. He cast a firm glance in Charles's direction, who maintained a defiant expression. "Good morning, everyone," William began. "Over the past few months, we have embarked on a journey of transformation at this dealership. We made the bold decision to embrace inclusion and respect for everyone, regardless of their financial status or social background." There were murmurs in the audience, some of approval, others of skepticism. "However, it has come to my attention that some of you are sabotaging these new policies," continued William, his voice heavy with disappointment. "Discriminatory practices, such as deliberately assigning low-income clients to inexperienced consultants, are unacceptable and go against everything we are trying to build here." Charles crossed his arms. His face hardened, but he remained silent. "I want to make it clear that I will not tolerate this kind of behavior in my company," William stated firmly. "From today on, any employee caught discriminating against clients or colleagues based on their financial status or social background will be summarily dismissed." A tense silence hung over the room as everyone absorbed the seriousness of William's words. "I am taking the drastic measure of dismissing Manager Charles for his unacceptable conduct," William announced, pointing at Charles. "I will serve as an example that there will be no tolerance for prejudice in this dealership." Charles stood up abruptly, his face red with anger. "Is this a joke? I've been here for years, building the success of this company, and now I'm being discarded because of these crazy ideas of inclusion." William raised his hand, silencing him. "Your actions have proven that you are not aligned with the new values we are adopting. This is my final decision, and I hope it serves as a lesson for everyone." Charles left the room, slamming the door behind him, while a stunned silence hung over those present. Olivia Thompson watched the scene with a mix of relief and apprehension. William Thompson had taken a courageous step, but she knew it would be a challenge to convince all employees to embrace the change. William then turned to the group. "I know these changes may be difficult for some of you, but I ask that you trust the process. We are building a fairer and more inclusive company, and we need to unite around this goal. Those who cannot adapt will have to follow Charles's path." There were some hesitant glances exchanged among the employees, but no one dared to openly disagree with William. "Now let's resume our activities with a renewed commitment to treat all customers and colleagues with respect and dignity," concluded William. "That is the key to the lasting success of this company." As the meeting dispersed, Olivia approached William. "Thank you for taking such a firm stance, Mr. Thompson. I know it wasn't easy, but it was necessary." William nodded gravely. "This is just the first battle, Olivia. We will still face resistance, but we cannot give up. We need to be persistent and show everyone that these changes are essential for the future of this company and society as a whole." Olivia agreed, determined to continue fighting alongside William. They had taken an important step, but the journey toward true inclusion was just beginning. The community event organized by William Thompson was in full swing, and the fruits of the changes implemented at the dealership were beginning to materialize. Olivia, now the customer service coordinator, watched with pride as employees and visitors from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds interacted positively. However, an unexpected incident occurred during the basic mechanics workshop. One of the tents accidentally caught fire due to a short circuit in one of the equipment. Chaos ensued for a few moments as people ran to escape the flames. It was then that John, the experienced garbage collector William had met during his immersion, took charge of the situation. With calm and quick thinking, he guided everyone to evacuate the area in an orderly manner while using fire extinguishers to contain the flames until the firefighters arrived. Olivia Thompson watched the scene with concern, fearing that the incident could jeopardize the success of the event. However, she was surprised by John's heroic attitude and how the team came together to handle the situation. When the firefighters arrived, the flames were already under control, thanks to the quick action of John and other employees who supported him. William, who had witnessed everything, couldn't contain his emotion upon seeing the team spirit and unexpected leadership that had emerged in the face of such a challenging situation. After the incident, William gathered the team and praised everyone's performance. emphasizing the importance of being prepared to face unforeseen events. John was invited to join the group and received special thanks for his courage and skill in handling the emergency situation. At that moment, William realized that the changes he had implemented were not only positively impacting the community, but were also transforming the company's internal culture. Valuing diversity and including people from different backgrounds were creating a more united team committed to collective success. As the community event continued, an unexpected incident occurred behind the scenes. Olivia, in her supervisory routine, discovered that an old friend of hers, recently hired in the sales team, was deliberately sabotaging some of the activities. Shocked by the revelation, Olivia confronted her colleague, who confessed to being resentful for not being promoted like her. The situation was delicate, as it involved an old friendship and feelings of envy and jealousy. Olivia found herself facing an ethical and emotional dilemma. On one hand, she understood the challenges her friend was facing and the reasons behind his actions. On the other hand, she couldn't allow the sabotage to continue, jeopardizing the success of the event and the credibility of the company. After deep reflection, Olivia made the difficult decision to fire her friend. She knew this could strain their friendship, but she was convinced that she needed to prioritize the greater good of the team and the commitment to the transformation that William had initiated. The conversation was tense and emotionally draining, but Olivia maintained her professional demeanor and explained the reasons behind her decision. She emphasized that sabotage was unacceptable and that the company was building a culture of respect and integrity, something that could not be compromised. Though hurt, her former friend ultimately accepted the dismissal, acknowledging that he had crossed a line. Olivia offered support for him to seek new opportunities, but made it clear that her loyalty lay with the team and the company's values. After handling the situation, Olivia felt relieved to have made a tough but right decision. She knew the journey of transformation wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to overcome the challenges and continue building a more inclusive and ethical work environment. William, upon being informed of the incident, praised Olivia's conduct and reaffirmed his commitment to the cultural shift within the company. He saw Olivia's actions as a reflection of the values being cultivated and a sign that the transformation was truly happening, despite the obstacles. With the community event moving forward and the team more united than ever, William and Olivia were confident they were on the right path to creating a more inclusive and fair future for everyone. The dealership team was still buzzing from the success of the major community event. Olivia, now promoted to customer service coordinator, led the weekly meetings with renewed energy. She was determined to maintain the momentum of change and ensure that inclusive policies became an integral part of the company's culture. During one of these meetings, Olivia Thompson shared a story that had deeply impacted her. "Last Saturday, a humble man came to thank me in person," she recounted. "He said that thanks to our new special financing and maintenance conditions, he was able to keep his small transportation business running." Olivia paused, observing the attentive faces of her team. "He told me that a few months ago, his old utility vehicle broke down and he didn't have the money to fix it. Without the vehicle, he risked losing everything he had worked so hard to build. But then he discovered our program and secured affordable financing to buy a used car and keep his fleet up to date with subsidized maintenance." A smile lit up Olivia's face. "He hugged me and said that, thanks to us, he not only saved his livelihood, but was also able to offer jobs to 3 more people in his community. Seeing the real impact we're having on people's lives is simply incredible." William Thompson, who watched the scene with pride, stood up and walked over to Olivia. He placed his hand on her shoulder and looked at the team. "This is proof that we're on the right path. Our actions are benefiting not only our customers, but also small entrepreneurs and their communities. This is exactly the kind of impact we aim to create." The team applauded, energized by the words of William and Olivia. At that moment, the dealership was not just a business, but an agent of social transformation. As the team celebrated their successes, a shadow loomed over the recent changes. Olivia noticed that Mark, an old friend who worked at the dealership, seemed increasingly bitter and distant. Concerned, she invited him to talk during the lunch break. "Mark, what's going on? You've been so quiet and distant lately," Olivia asked as they ate their snacks in the company courtyard. Mark sighed deeply. "I can't accept all these changes, Olivia. I think we're losing focus on the business. Olivia frowned. What do you mean? We are expanding access to more customers, creating opportunities for local communities. This is the opposite of losing focus. No, you're wrong, Mark retorted. We're giving up profits and standards to please a loud minority. These social policies are costing us dearly. Olivia felt her anger rising. Mark, you're being extremely insensitive. These people aren't a loud minority. They're part of our community, our society. We have an obligation to be inclusive and offer equal opportunities to everyone. Mark shook his head. You may have climbed the corporate ladder, but you're still naive. These changes are going to sink the company. Before Olivia could respond, Mark stood up and walked away, leaving her stunned by his bitterness. In the following days, Olivia noticed small acts of sabotage happening at the dealership. Promotional flyers being thrown away, computers misconfigured, and even an incident involving an oil leak in the workshop. She suspected that Mark was behind these incidents, but had no concrete evidence. Finally, after a near-serious accident involving a faulty tool, Olivia decided to confront Mark directly. She called him into her office and laid out the facts. Mark, I know you're behind these acts of sabotage. Your comments made it clear that you're against the changes we're implementing, she said firmly. Mark tried to deny it, but Olivia interrupted him. There's no use lying. I have reports from several witnesses about your actions, and all of this needs to stop now. Mark's shoulders slumped and he finally admitted his guilt. I just wanted things to go back to normal. You were moving up in life and suddenly these crazy policies ruined everything. Olivia shook her head, disappointed. These crazy policies are changing lives, Mark. We're making a difference for so many people. And if you can't see that, then there's no longer a place for you here. With regret, Olivia handed the resignation letter to Mark. She knew she was making the right decision, but it still hurt to lose a friend over such deep disagreements. Mark left the room in silence, leaving Olivia with the feeling that she had crossed a point of no return. The transformation of the dealership was underway, and those unwilling to embrace change would have to be left behind. The morning after the community event, the dealership was once again open for daily business. William arrived early, walking through the halls with a fresh perspective. He observed every detail, every interaction between employees and customers, looking for signs that the seed of transformation had been planted. Olivia, the service coordinator, greeted him with a warm smile. Good morning, Mr. Thompson. We have a full schedule today, but we're prepared. William nodded, pleased with her determination. Excellent, Olivia. I trust in your leadership to maintain the new standard of service we've established. As they walked together, Olivia hesitated for a moment before continuing. Sir, I would like to express my gratitude for believing in me. When I was promoted, some colleagues doubted my abilities, but you gave me a chance. William placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Olivia, your compassion and professionalism are exemplary. You've proven more than capable of leading this team. Olivia nodded, her eyes shining with renewed confidence. I won't let you down, Mr. Thompson. As they made their way to the service area, William reflected on how his personal journey had shifted his perspective. Before, he would have seen only numbers and goals, but now he saw the people behind them, their stories, dreams, and challenges. In the showroom, a humble couple waited anxiously. Olivia Thompson greeted them warmly, inviting them to sit down. William Thompson watched attentively as she explained the affordable financing options and the benefits of the subsidized maintenance program. The husband, a delivery driver for an app, shook his head in disbelief. I never thought we could one day have our own car. This is going to change our lives. Olivia smiled, understanding the impact of that moment. It's a pleasure to help you make this dream come true. William felt a wave of pride as he watched the couple walk out beaming, holding the keys to a pre-owned car. He realized that every sale represented much more than a number on a spreadsheet. It was a life transformed. Later that day, Emily Thompson showed up at the dealership smiling. She greeted her father with a warm hug. Dad, I needed to come here in person and tell you how proud I am of you. William was moved by his daughter's words. Thank you, Emily. Your initial question made me see beyond the obvious. This journey has been transformative for me as well. Emily nodded, her eyes shining. I saw so many incredible stories yesterday, people who finally had the opportunity to improve their lives. You proved that it's possible to build a profitable business while making a difference in society. William smiled, putting an arm around her shoulders. "And this is just the beginning, daughter. We have so much more to do." Together, they walked through the dealership, observing the positive interactions between employees and customers. It was evident that a new culture was blossoming, based on mutual respect and empathy. That night, William reflected on his journey. He had started as a businessman blinded by numbers, but now he clearly saw the human impact behind every business. His dealership was no longer just a place of sales, but a catalyst for opportunities and social transformation. With renewed determination to continue expanding his initiatives, William fell asleep with a smile on his lips, knowing he had found the true meaning of success. A year had passed since the community event that changed the course of William Thompson's dealership. What was once just an ambitious dream had now become a tangible reality, with lasting impacts on the local community. At a vibrant ceremony, William and his team inaugurated the Community Automotive Training Center, a state-of-the-art facility dedicated to providing free technical training for low-income youth and adults. It was a historic milestone, representing the company's commitment to building a more inclusive and just future. Beside William, Emily smiled proudly, reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this moment. She remembered the heated discussions with her father, when she questioned the excessive focus on profits and the lack of consideration for the community's needs. Now, before her, was living proof that change was possible. The Community Automotive Training Center would not only train new talents for the automotive industry, but also open doors to career opportunities and social mobility. During the ceremony, William took the floor, his voice filled with emotion. "Today we celebrate more than the opening of a training center. We are taking a bold step toward a more inclusive future, where talent and determination are the only requirements for success." He paused, his eyes scanning the diverse crowd gathered. "In this center, there will be no distinction of class or origin. Here, we will offer everyone the chance to develop valuable skills and build rewarding careers in the automotive industry." The audience erupted into warm applause, sharing William Thompson's enthusiasm. Olivia Thompson, now the Director of Human Resources, watched with pride, recalling how her own humble beginnings had once been an obstacle in the past. After the ceremony, William and Emily Thompson walked through the halls of the new center, admiring the modern facilities and state-of-the-art equipment. Emily squeezed her father's hand, moved. "Dad, you've proven that it's possible to balance business success with social responsibility. This center is a legacy that will change so many lives." William nodded, his eyes shining with determination. "And it's just the beginning, my daughter. We have so much more to do. This center is the seed of a greater transformation, where companies don't just seek profits but also invest in talent development and building stronger communities." At that moment, a young man approached timidly. "Excuse me for interrupting, Mr. Thompson. I just wanted to say how much this opportunity means to me. I come from a humble family and never thought I could be part of this industry." William placed a comforting hand on the young man's shoulder. "Son, this center is for people like you. Here, your talent and dedication will be nurtured, and new doors will open. I'm proud to be able to offer this chance." The young man smiled, his eyes shining with renewed hope. "Thank you so much, sir. I won't let you down." As the young man walked away, Emily looked at her father with admiration. "You see, Dad, these are the lives we're changing. This is the true legacy we're building." William nodded, smiling. "Yes, daughter, and this is just the beginning of an even grander journey." In the following months, the Community Automotive Training Center flourished, attracting hundreds of eager students looking to learn and build successful careers. Theoretical and practical classes were taught by experienced instructors, while partnerships with local businesses ensured internship and job opportunities. William Thompson's dealership became a model to be followed, inspiring other companies to adopt more inclusive practices and invest in the development of local talent. The success of the center proved that business prosperity can go hand in hand with social responsibility, creating a virtuous cycle of opportunities and growth. William often reflected on his transformative journey, from the initial confrontation with his daughter to the lasting impact his company now had on the community. He had learned that true success is not measured solely by numbers, but by the positive legacy left for future generations. With pride, he watched the next generation of automotive talent flourish, knowing that his dream of a more inclusive and fair future was becoming a reality, one transformed life at a time.